What's up guys, it's Victoria from UnderVictoriaSpell, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about small town romances that I have been obsessed with lately. I'm definitely in my small town era and I just cannot wait to talk about some of these small town romances. So let's hop right into it. So I got a new bookshelf, so finally you can see like all my books behind here. Love it. So just had to show you that really quick. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the physical ones that I own first, and I read this in January and I absolutely loved it, and that is Indigo Ridge by Devony Perry. This just was small town suspense goodness. Like, I loved it so much. This cover is absolutely stunning. So good. This follows our heroine as she is the new sheriff in town, actually. And on her first night there, she's just looking for a little bit of fun to blow off some steam before her new job. And she thinks that she is meeting a, passerby and just gonna have a one-night stand. Little does she know, her one-night stand is pretty much like the golden boy of the town. It is an Eden. The Edens pretty much run the town. They are so well known. They have been there since like the dawn of time. So it is now forced proximity because they're in this small town together. She is the new sheriff and she just had a one-night stand. Really loved the connection between these two characters. I loved seeing our heroine in such a male-dominated role and seeing like the hero kind of just be this rancher. So I really enjoyed it. What really hooked me though is this is kind of surrounding murders that is going on in this town, and our heroine is trying to figure out what is going on, why all these weird disappearances are happening all these years apart. And the forced proximity aspect of it is one of the murders or killings happens on the Eden's ranch. So they are now investigating together in a way because it happened on his land. And I just loved it. I thought it was so good. The suspense was excellent. And honestly, I did not see it coming at the end. Whenever you find out like who it is, I was like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting that whatsoever. So you should definitely pick this one up. I also feel like it's really underrated because I know the Eden series, like so many people love book 2, which is Juniper Hill, which I also really loved, but this one is like my favorite one of the series. Like when I first read the first 3, it was so good. So definitely check this one out. And the next one that I'm going to talk about is a new release, and this is not going to be a surprise to anyone, but one of my favorite tropes really is friends to lovers. So when you bring like friends to lovers, like small town, like who does not want that? So the next one is Powerless by Elsie Silver. This came out on February 10th this year. And oh my gosh, I consumed this book. It was so good. This cover also, I'm literally just obsessed. Like, it is so pretty. So this is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Spring series. You can read them as standalones. I suggest reading them in order because like I feel like you really get a wholesome environment and learning about the family. And this follows Jasper and Sloane. Jasper is the adopted brother of the other 2 brothers that are in book 1 and 2. And Jasper is a hockey player. So this is also a sports romance in a way. It's not really heavy on the sports. And Sloane is kind of like the cousin of the family. So they're kind of family, but they're not, because they're not blood related because he's adopted. But anyway, they have been friends their whole life. So she is pretty much getting married and he is just not here for it. He just does not think that this is the right man for her. So on her wedding day, she finds something out and she pretty much becomes a runaway bride. And none other does Jasper take her away, running down the street in her wedding dress, and they kind of are just attached at the hip at that point because she's in a really vulnerable place and he really wants to be there for her. So they end up going on a road trip together, and that's really where things start to get spicy and feelings are finally talked about. I was just so here for this book. I just devoured it, and 5 stars. Like, it was so good. If you are not normally a fan of Friends to Lovers, I really suggest picking this one up because I feel like it really brings the angst. And there's like a really good emotional depth to this one. So I think you should definitely pick this one up. It's worth it. And the next one that I'm going to talk about is also a new release. It came out January 31st, I believe. And that is Jasper Vale. This is the 4th book in the Eden series. These are standalone, so you can read them separately. But this one was just so freaking good. I loved it so much because we got the cliffhanger at the end of book 3 of this couple's story, and I was like, I cannot wait to pick this up. This is kind of like a surprise marriage after a drunken night in Vegas, and I was like, I'm so here for that. That sounds amazing. So this follows Jasper, who you get introduced to in the 3rd book as one of the hero's best friend. So he is already in town for this event that happens in book 3. So the night of this event happening, Eloise, who is our heroine in this book, she goes out and gets drunk and wasted, and she ends up marrying Jasper in Vegas. So now she is really trying hard back in her day-to-day life to take over this inn that she has worked so hard for. So when she finds out that she is now married, she's worried that she won't get this inn because her parents won't see her as responsible. So her and Jasper pretty much go along with this marriage for a certain amount of time so that she can get this inn. So it's forced proximity. It is angsty. He is a very protective hero. There's something about like saying like, that's my wife, or, you know, you're mine, that just gets me every single time. And that is definitely Jasper, and I was so here for it. So if you have not picked up Jasper Vale, you definitely need to. Loved this one so much. The spice was A+ also. And the next one that I'm going to talk about is Beautifully Broken Pieces by Catherine Cowles. She's an author that I really wanted to try out, and I'm so glad that I did because I was in such a small town mood, and she just gave me everything that I wanted. So Beautifully Broken Pieces is book 1 in the Shutter Lake series, and this follows our heroine as she is kind of starting over, and she is really just dealing with a lot internally. She has a lot of grief. She doesn't really know what she's gonna do with her life. So she moves to this town, and she is renting a cabin on this family's ranch. And then you are introduced to Walker, who is a sheriff deputy in the town. That's his family's ranch. And so their banter is just so cute. I love it so much because Walker is such a gentle soul. He is such a kind man, really respectable, and he really just wants the best for everybody. So he is just trying to be that Southern gentleman and get to know Taylor, which is our heroine, and she is just not here for it. She wants to be left alone in her grief. And he is just not all about that. He just wants to be there for her because he sees pain. But along with this small town, if you have read Catherine Cowles, then you know she is all about that romantic suspense. So while all of this is going on, there's also a string of missing women. And Taylor is such an independent person. She really deals with her grief through like exercise and just doing things alone. And Walker is really just trying to be there for her and be like, can you please just not go out by yourself? Like, we have missing women going on. And she is just like, I'm an independent woman. I'm going to do what I please. And like, yes, we love an independent woman, but just listen to Walker. He does not want you to get kidnapped, honey, you know? But I really really, really loved this romance because not only is Taylor dealing with a lot of grief, but, you know, Walker has a past of his own. He has grief that he is also dealing with. So to see these two people come together and they're dealing with different griefs and grow was just such a beautiful story to watch. The suspense aspect was amazing. I guess I'm just a sucker. I do not see certain things coming. So whenever it was revealed, you know, he was kidnapping all these women, I did not see it. I'm gullible, I guess, in that way. So I really enjoyed the aspect of Beautifully Broken Pieces with the suspense. So you should definitely check this out. And it was just wholesome and cozy with a little bit of mystery. So really enjoyed it. And the last book that I'm going to talk about is my most recent read and kind of why I decided to do this video. And that is Beautifully Broken Life. This is book 2 in the Shutter Lake series by Catherine Cowles. You can read them as standalones, but I suggest reading them in order because you get introduced to both characters in book 1. This follows Tessa as she is kind of like a very secretive person. She is very jumpy and she just wants a really quiet life. She just wants to go by and hope that nobody sees her. And you find out very early on that she is on the run from someone. So please check your trigger warnings for domestic violence because that deals with that in this book. So if that's a trigger for you, please know that going in. But she is on the run from her abuser and she has pretty much changed her entire life. She has changed what she looks like, her name, and in comes Liam, who is just, I loved him so much. He is a musician and he is trying to get away for a while because he's having a hard time writing his new album. He's kind of burnt out from the LA scene in Hollywood, so he's there to kind of just get some privacy. And whenever he sees Tessa for the first time, he feels this flutter and just wants to start writing music again. And I loved how genuine Liam was. He was not a cocky rock star. He was very down to earth and he just wanted to know more about Tessa. And it was such a push and pull story because she is someone who doesn't want to be seen, and then you have Liam who is out there in the public eye. It was so good. Liam was such a protective hero. He was also so gentle dealing with her story, and I just loved that. I thought it was handled so well. I thought the story was done very, very well, and I just loved this one from Catherine Cowles. Amazing. I love to see the suspense aspect of it as well. It had me on my toes. So if you love romantic suspense and you love that emotion, this is definitely the right one for you. And it just makes it better that it's in a small town where everybody knows everyone. It was great. So definitely pick that one up. And that's all I have for today, guys. Those are the small town romances that I have just been obsessed with lately, and I cannot get them off my mind, and I just had to talk about them. I just love small town romance. There's just something cute and cozy about them that I just am obsessed with. So hopefully you will pick up some of these small town romances, or if you have some small town romances that you think I would love, please let me know because I'm in my era, okay? I would love it. But I will see you guys next time, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.